Hey yo, what it do? It's your boy Rue, and welcome to RueAlity. Hey, welcome back to RueAlity. Yes, after a year and a half, I have returned, and I am interviewing somebody very special here. We have Michael T.
What's up? How's
What's
it going?
up? We have a lot to dive into today, so I hope you're ready to chat. Let's get right into it and let's talk some media headlines.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you're working on currently, what's coming from you.
So currently I'm working on a documentary about a model, and I just finished a music video with a friend of mine today. And right now I have a short film in like the film festival circuit going around right now. So I think right now I'm doing pretty great, working on a couple things for next year since the year's wrapping up.
Yes,
So,
very important to start preparing
yeah.
your 2023 shameless plug. Get with Grainy Day Studios. So let's talk about this documentary.
Yeah.
What is it about? How did this idea come about?
So
All of that.
So what happened was, I think a few months ago, I came up with this idea. There's this friend of mine who's a model, and she's never acted before. So I came up with this idea where I wanted her in her own world, comfortable, and like I decided, oh, why don't I make a documentary about her being a model? So what happened was, we put together a team. It was a friend of mine that did still photography for my recent short film, June 22nd.
Okay.
And then the costume designer as well. And we kind of just put the team together. I told her that, yeah, the names. Sorry about that. You got it, right?
It's live all the way through. No
Yeah.
editing on this show. It's fully all the way through.
All right. So we're working on a documentary, and we sat down, had a meeting, put it together, and yeah.
And this is based off of a story, or you're going into the life of a model from Lawrence, Massachusetts?
Oh, it's a life about a model. She's from the area. I believe she's from Lowell.
Okay, Lowell in the house. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, we pretty much worked on it for a couple month prep, and what we did was, it was a photo shoot, and we had 3 cameras around the photo shoot documenting the whole thing from beginning to end.
This is going to be a short, or it's going to be a full?
It's gonna be a documentary.
Wow.
I believe right now the running time's a little under like 30 minutes.
Oh,
As of right now, it's
That's
not
pretty
done
good.
yet, but we're working on it. So
when can we expect that?
I'm hoping around March. Still working out like the ideas of release, figuring out how that works. But that should be fun, and I'm really excited for it. Yeah.
And then this music video that you were filming, can you spill deets about that? I know artists are sensitive about their talks behind their new music.
So music video at this very moment, we just finished it. We shot it in like probably the beginning of June or probably August. Memory's a little foggy, but I was busy doing work, and like we finally got into like full on post production like these past couple weeks, and we finally finished it today. So I don't know when we're dropping it yet. We're still got to figure that out.
It's still in the air.
But
it's in the cloud.
Sometime next year. Should be
Got
fun.
you.
Sometime next year.
Interesting. I wanted to bring up this headline that came out about Twitch, who passed away. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Did that affect you in any way? Did that make you think about any mental health issues or anything?
He was very talented.
He was extremely,
It's unfortunate. I was a huge fan of like all the Step Up movies he was in.
Mm-hmm.
I know he was in Magic Mike for, I think it was.
Now
either
you
the
know
first
more
or
than I do,
second
and I'm a
one.
dancer.
That's
a shame.
He's extremely talented. It was crazy because I was recently on like this huge binge of like dance movies.
Okay.
And the next short film's very much dance oriented. I'd love to tell you about it.
I would love to hear about it. Period.
But yeah, we could talk about that too. But yeah, it's unfortunate what happened, and yeah, you make sure you're checking up on people you love. And
Facts.
It's very unfortunate, and I mean, we have his work to be
To
able
live
to
on
worship and
forever.
admire for like years
Yeah.
and years.
I think for me, like what it brought attention to, like with my other podcast, Sofrito Speaks, we talk a lot about mental health and like just seeing like somebody who's always so happy or presents themselves to be so happy
Yeah.
ends up, committing, trigger warning, suicide. And to hear that, like I just was taken back by it. I was sitting at my desk and I was like, this can't be real. Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big Twitch follower, but, obviously with my previous mental health issues, I do have experience with suicide and all that and how it really affects and really like does a number on the brain and all these things. And just like for the fellas out there, like, please check on your mental health, check on your friends. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to speak up. Find a therapist. It's very important because I think sometimes society puts men to be so tough and always having to work and be so masculine. And it's okay to like let people know like I'm human. I got feelings.
Yeah.
And to talk about those things. And I feel like sometimes it's put on the back burner because they're busy or they have to work and all these things. So it's a shame. Rest in peace, Twitch.
Yeah.
I also wanted to dive into, do you listen to a lot of music?
Oh yeah, absolutely. A ton of music. Recently, last night, I think like 2 nights ago, a friend of mine and me, we were going like back and forth on like different like indie like indie alternative music that we
Okay.
used to listen to, and like I was just like, what if we write like a like rom-com or like an like just this college-based rom-com with these kind of songs in them. Music's like very much inspires a lot of my work.
Yeah, a lot of your films, I was watching them and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of really good songs. I think there's a song at the end of Boys Will Be Boys where Leary.
Yes, Leary.
With Leary.
Oh my god.
Shout out Leary.
Yeah.
And that track was pretty dope.
Yeah, they put that together. I believe it was either I can't remember if it was before or after we shot the movie, but I remember that night they were at the studio and it was just.
It was so raw and just so like full of emotion.
He's never done a song like that either.
That sounded different from what he's done. So.
And it was crazy how they put that together. I was there that night.
His bars are always hitting.
Mm-hmm.
We stand Leary over here. I don't know about.
He did the music. He did music supervision supervised for June 22nd.
Okay.
Put together the whole team for
that was
music
a smart
and
move.
Everything. Yeah,
that was a smart.
He
move.
has an incredible ear. I love his ear.
Yeah.
First off, yeah.
Pause.
Yeah.
No. So what's that process like? Like when you're doing a film, when you're creating a film, do you already have, like, I know for June 22nd, you said he's the musical supervisor. Do you have that in mind, or are you just like, you have this rom-com that you're planning or that you're thinking about planning around indie alternative music? So clearly music is it has a big impact on your, your
big time.
creative process.
The process when it comes to music, it's kind of like the foundation for anything.
Okay.
When it comes to for me to write, I have to make a playlist. Like that's a big thing.
Wow.
Making playlists with songs that I really like listening to, and even sounds or anything like things that remind me of stuff.
Yeah.
Music's huge for me, and when it comes to like writing stuff, I haven't done a writing session without it. So
that's different because I've heard of people write. Like they need complete silence as Molly is tiptoeing in the back, y'all. If you hear cameras clicking, we are getting behind the scenes footage at the same time, so don't be shy. So yeah, I've heard a lot of people having to write in silence or like, I know they have like writers camps where singers like, they'll go, far away and then they'll do like a whole weekend or a week of just like sitting down and like nonstop writing, creating music. Yeah. Is there something like that for film or?
Oh yeah, of course. There's a lot of workshops for films that you can find online.
And I feel like I've seen some locally.
Yeah, I'm actually working on something with a group of people to figure that out next year because
that's dope.
The group in the film scene in Massachusetts is very like small and very like, I don't want to say gate kept, but very much like
as every creative field
small,
in Mass.
You gotta find it, if you really want.
Yeah.
If you really want to find the thing you're into, like film, you have to find those people, and that's That's what happened to me. I had to find people from Boston that were in the film. Here in Lawrence, there's not that many people that are into film. It's more like
I was gonna
you gotta
say,
go out and
like, you're
find
one
it.
of the few that are out here that are really just like creating shorts and submitting them to festivals and things like that.
Yeah, it's a very small group. There's about like 2 or 3 from Lawrence here working on films that I know of, and there's just a bunch of other people in Boston too, and just around the whole Massachusetts area. I think Mass is gonna be like one of the next big states for film. They did, I think, about 4 or 5 productions.
Didn't they
this
shoot
year.
like there was a scene like in a movie with Ben or someone right outside of this building? Anybody know? Yeah, by the bridge.
Yeah,
Just be careful with the just be careful with the cord.
Oh, okay.
You got it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I know they've shot a couple of things here in Lawrence, and I get really excited when they come down.
Do you go like and wait outside the?
Oh no, nah. But
He's like, I got a job. I don't know what you think I'm doing.
I remember back in high school there was they were shooting the Little Woman movie. I don't know if you know that movie. The one
I know 3 Little Women.
Yeah. So they had they were doing. I know Ben Affleck did a movie back when I was in high school.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I like really knew about it, because I was like, oh, this is happening in Lawrence. This is dope.
They had I know he did one, and then they did Little Woman, and they shut down like Essex Street for that one.
Oh wow.
And if you watch the movie, the opening scene, you see one of the actors just running down like City Hall.
Oh wow.
And you see like the whole thing, like you see the clock tower and all that, and it's pretty tight.
All right, we're definitely gonna have to check Little Women. It's based on a book.
Yeah, it's based on a book. I don't know too much about the book. I know the movie.
So, fun fact, the group 3LW, they based their name off of that book as well.
Oh, wow.
So, it's a pretty well-known book.
Yeah.
I don't know the story too much about it.
Yeah,
I only know about it because of 3LW. I'm a 3LW stan, sorry.
Yeah. And then see how I knew about it because of the movie.
There we go, connecting.
Yeah.
Now, let's get back to the basics. I want to talk a little bit, or I want you to talk a little bit more about your beginning journey when you found out that you like filmmaking. How did that process come about?
So what happened was, I believe it was in high school. I went to a vocational school, so it's a very different kind of thing where you have
learn to work
1 week education and then 1 week work, and it's kind of weird because like you're so young and you have to pick your career, and it's crazy. But I know the first year I was in plumbing and I didn't like it, so then the second year they did graphic communications, and I did that, and I learned a lot about like using a camera, using like
I don't think they even have that. Is that it at the Vogue?
I don't think it's there anymore. They took it out.
Yeah, I don't think they
it's
have that.
It's unfortunate because I learned so much there, and it's crazy. Like I got my first job there filming basketball games.
Oh, okay.
I did, I think 2 seasons, 2-3 seasons, I can't remember, but that was like the first time I was really messing around with cameras, and I remember it was like an easy job. Like all I really had to do was just use a tripod, wave the camera side to side. Yeah. It's a basketball game, you know? So I did that, and after that, pretty much my friends caught on. Like they were like, "Oh, you're filming basketball games. That's cool. What else are you learning in graphics?" And then I told them learning how to make shirts, printing materials, doing that, and they were like, "Oh, that's really sick. Like, what? How did you learn how to do all that?" And I'm like, "Oh, graphics." Yeah. And they were in other shops, and a lot of the time when you're there, they're just having you learn about what shop makes the most money, but like people don't realize like graphics was technically like the art school over there at the tech school I went to.
Yep.
So from there on out, I learned that I was very much graphic designer first and then video. But then as time progressed, I kept making videos with friends. I got my own camera, and then we made a short film, and my friends were like, well, why don't we just premiere it, show it to other people? And I was like, I don't know, like why are we gonna do this? That's kind of weird. Like we could just make this.
It's like the artist blues, the artist cold feet.
Yeah, I was like that. Like I didn't think much of it, but then we did a premiere. We finished the film, and like the crowd was big. Like it was a big crowd, and from there.
So you actually had like a video premiere for this. Short film.
And like I didn't think much of it when we were planning it. Like I was just very much like, okay, you guys want to do it? Fine, I'll do it. Let's do it. And then from there on out, like we had the event, and a bunch of people came, and then people loved it, and then from there on out, I was like, well, I guess I want to keep making videos.
Ungi, you were like, yo, I got this.
Yeah.
I'm here. I got this.
I was like, I guess I want to start making videos now. And that summer, I remember I did a couple music videos for friends, and then a friend of mine, he saw the videos I was doing, and he was like, why don't you make like story-driven videos? And that's when I made my first short film, and then
Which was titled
that one. So there's Boys Will Be Boys, which is like I would declare like my official
Your
first
stamp, your
like-
first stamp of
like my
yes,
first baby, or
I'm
like
proud.
yeah. And then there's other stuff that came before Boys Will Be Boys that
That led you to that.
yeah, and the other stuff, probably like a 4-minute film of just after I graduated high school, detailing like all these expectations and all that.
Yeah.
And it won a short film festival here in Lawrence.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple years back.
I like that.
And then from there, that's when Boys Will Be Boys happened. Right after I won that one, somebody reached out to me and they were like, oh, why don't you make a script? We'll give you a budget and you can make this short film for us. And that's how Boys Will Be Boys happened.
So let's talk a little bit about Boys Will Be Boys. We just watched it before you got here. Yeah. I saw it like 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And I actually saw it when you were doing that campaign for June 22nd, I believe.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Thank you.
I love the storyline. I've related so much to the main character.
Oh, wow.
I've never beat anybody up, although I've wanted to. I just, like, the cancer in me will not let it happen. But I think the storyline is super relatable, especially to a lot of Latino young men from out here, because they go through the same things that he was going through with that pressure of like, that's my girl and I like her. And, seeing that play out at a party, I think everyone in this room has been at a party where something has popped off over a girl.
Yeah.
So was that your inspiration behind this? Like, was this a real live event that you have witnessed that you were like, yo, like, what was that concept, coming up with that concept like?
So Boys Will Be Boys is literally like a mixture of, like, I would say like high school kind of. I played football freshman year. And then I think around that time, I really wanted this story where it was like, all right, so vulnerable jock. We get a vulnerable jock in a story. Let's write that. He's in the football team and he's at a party. So it was a 10-page script. Wrote it, I think, a few days. Then after that, I did see a lot of movies. Surprising enough, a lot of like, there's The Breakfast Club. I love The Breakfast Club, one of my favorite movies ever. But also High School Musical.
Is that where the Letterman jackets came in?
Yeah, I love High School Musical.
I was like, it's the branding for me. Thank you.
I love High School Musical, and I know it's like some people that are like High School Musical.
Nah, bro, Cheetah Girls.
And even at the time, I love those movies too. Those movies are great.
We grew up on Disney movies,
we did.
Nickelodeon movies, Disney movies.
Yeah,
Smart House.
It's true.
We need an Apple House. Like, let's do this.
Yeah, those were great movies. Yeah, the High School Musical movies. A lot of like the John Hughes movies. Yeah, those movies helped influence Boys Will Be Boys a lot. And I know a lot of people at the time Euphoria was out too, and a lot of people were like, oh my God, this is very much like Euphoria or like High School Musical. And I was like, yes, that's what I'm trying to make here.
You're like, yeah, that was the point.
But yeah,
how was the casting process like?
Oh, so this was kind of the first time I had to put together like a whole crew and cast, and that was very different. We put out like this Instagram story kind of thing where like, oh, we're looking for these kind of characters. And I remember a friend of mine read the script and he was just like, let me be the lead. And I was like, he was like literally right next to the couch after I finished writing the script. He was like, let me be the lead. And I was like, sure, why not? And I let him be the lead. And then finding...
It's good that you have friends that came through for you like that.
Yeah. Most of my films are because of my friends. I'm really grateful for them.
I love that.
And I don't know like how like they just get away with it. And they're like, all right, yeah, we'll make you a film. Let's go do this.
I
Let's
love
go do
that. The support.
Yeah.
And they're also creatives as well, I can imagine.
Of course. And
So
I very much like to think that they get really inspired by some of the stuff that we put together.
that must feel really good.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great feeling.
I love that.
Yeah, and you know, moving forward with more films, I would, you know, more friends
Continue to
around.
continue to pick
Yeah.
from the pile.
Yeah, of course.
So you started with your friend as the lead who was sitting next to you on the couch.
Yeah. So he wanted to be the lead, and then when it came to finding other characters, it was mainly like social media, just a lot of DMs, a lot of people like, oh, I need to see you do the scene, like a lot of like scenes that I had to see, and I was like, okay, yeah, you'll be in the movie, and then from there on out, we had a cast, and it was very like hard to maintain because we didn't do a real schedule. Like we were like, okay, we'll shoot this weekend. It'll be 2 days. And then when I was editing, I was like, we need one more scene.
Yeah.
And it'd be like 3 weeks after we shot and we'd have to bring the actors back and they'd do something. And it was just the first time I ever did something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know as much as I did before, but it was really sick.
There was a scene where the main character is walking out of the room and then there's two people in the kitchen or something straight ahead, and then they started beating the guy in the middle with the white shirt on.
Yeah, it was very much high school inspired. Those kind of things, like,
just to be goofy.
Yeah, just to be goofy.
I was like, what's going on back there?
Yeah, it was a lot of that. Was originally a whole one shot. Like, I don't know if you've noticed when you're watching it before those cuts, we shot that whole thing all the way through, like throughout the house. But then, like, editing wise, it didn't fit. So, we just came up with a bunch of ideas. We placed people in certain places, and we were lucky enough to have like a huge crowd for something like that. We didn't even we hit people up like hours before the thing to have people come and show up.
Yeah, I saw Isha in there.
Yeah.
Shout out Isha.
Love Isha.
She's going to be on next month, hopefully.
Yeah. Isha helped out a lot with promoting the movie, too.
Yep.
She posted like the fight scene of the film. She posted it on her story and made it seem like it was a real fight, and like a bunch of people flooded it, and it was like it went
great
viral
promotional
for a bit.
tactic.
Yeah, it was great. It was really cool.
When
really
you earlier you were talking about the community of filmmaking in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So like, what is that looking like out here? Is that like, you know, I know you said in Boston mainly. Have you connected with a lot of people out there? Are you planning to work with like filmmakers out there, actors out there, actresses out there?
Oh yeah, of course. This year and last year, I had the privilege on working on like big studio films as like an assistant, and I learned so much from those experiences.
Dope.
And
that's dope.
Yeah, I learned a lot, met a lot of people, part of the film community here in Massachusetts. Yeah, I really want to keep making films, and meeting these people just inspired me even more. And I want to be able to bring that here to Lawrence.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people get really close with fashion and music, but I feel like when people see the film aspect of it all and how they can blend everything together and put it into one film, that's going to be really special. And I feel like once people see that a lot more often than just shooting a music video or like just doing a fashion show, putting everything together, it'll look gorgeous. And even like these special presentations as well. And I hope, you know, next year a lot of more people want to dive into the idea of making films.
Yeah, that'll be good. And you said you're putting something together to kind of like help introduce that into the community. So
yeah, definitely. I'm working on being able to bring movie nights here in Lawrence, working on doing workshops. I want to be able to bring that here. So
it'd be dope to have like to like push your videos out to like the hip hop nights and the open mic nights to be playing on the screen while certain songs are playing.
Yeah, of course.
That's great promotion.
Yeah, I want to be able to inspire
copyright trademark. Copyright trademark. That was my idea.
Yeah.
Let's talk about June 22nd. So you started off with a campaign, which was pretty dope. It was like donate whatever amount you want to donate.
Yeah.
and I donated like a few.
Thank you so much for that.
It was
really
only
appreciate it.
it was only like $3.
Still,
you know what
it
I'm
means a
saying? The
lot.
bank account was looking a little low. I was like, all right, we could do this.
It
But
means a lot, though.
I think that
Yeah.
that was a pretty interesting take on campaigning and crowdfunding
Yeah.
instead of the whole. Did you have a Kickstarter?
We did it through. We kind of did our own campaign through a website. We had a Cash App set up. We had a PayPal set
Yeah,
up.
I did the Cash App one.
Yeah, and we did it because I think Kickstarter has like
A limit.
it takes
They take a
time.
percentage.
They do take a percentage, and then it also takes time. Like, I think once you get your goal reached, you don't get the money for like a certain amount of days or weeks.
Damn.
So we kind of just had to do it. We had like a time crunch, so we had to do it that way instead of, starting a Kickstarter, which I do plan on doing next year, and have it more organized and everything.
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah, and it was very much a learning experience from beginning to end. This one, everything seems to feel like the first time you're doing something.
Every time.
And this one,
And you'll always encounter new things that
Yeah.
you were like, I thought I was ready for it this time, and
Yeah.
you're not. You know?
yeah, it's true. And this one felt very much like a production, production. Like we had producer, we had I was a director, we had a huge crew, like just friends and people that wanted to help out.
That's good.
And
how do you manage that, like being the head director with your friends, like having that serious, like, yo, we got to get this done? Like, does that get rocky sometimes?
It's tough. There was sometimes on production, like I really try, like I want to be like a very respectable like person when it comes to being on set and everything, because I've seen a lot of people be disrespectful.
Yeah,
And you don't want to
it
be
gets
that.
tense.
And
It gets tense.
And I remember when I was telling people that I was doing a film, they told me there's gonna be moments where you're gonna have to tell people to shut up or tell people to do this and that. And I noticed firsthand I had to do it. And like something I learned that's very important is don't take anything personal when it comes to working on this kind of stuff, because then you don't want to like destroy the beauty that you're making. When it comes to that kind of creation of some sorts. And yeah, I had to learn the hard way. Like, couldn't take anything personal. Had to tell people to shut up sometimes, and I'd go back and tell them, look, I'm sorry, I had to do that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It's that double-edged sword, you know?
And
I definitely relate, because like when I work with youth dancers, and some of the rehearsals, like I have to start off with just being like, yo, let's get this done, or we're going to have 3 hours of me just yelling at you to get it done. So let's just do it correctly the first time. Yeah. So I definitely can relate to that. Was there any pushback from anybody?
Not really, no. It was hot. It was a hot production, like
probably you guys were on the beach.
Yeah, it was probably the hottest weekend in Massachusetts. Like, I think that weekend, I can't top any like other weekend that's been that hot when we shot it. 3 days, and we shot that whole thing in 3 days, 12-hour days. Yeah.
Wow.
And it very much felt like the productions I was on in Boston. I remember I took like a couple of days off that job, and it very much felt like I was still working, because we had a studio, and we'd come in every morning. Good morning, everybody's getting dressed. We're working on what shots I'm going to do today. It felt very much like a production company, like a well-oiled machine, just
that's good.
Going and
different
cranking.
From your first, from Boys Will Be Boys.
Yeah, I learned so much from that one, and putting the producer cap on, I feel like a lot of people focus on the director role, but producing too, like putting all that stuff together, it's hard.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet, and especially getting all those ideas out and making sure they look exactly how you envisioned them. I could imagine the retakes.
Oh my God, yeah.
Retakes.
There was a lot of retakes, and I think for this one, we didn't even do reshoots. We had those 3 days, and that was it, because one of the actresses, they were from New York, so like...
It was it. And she was already booked for a bunch of other stuff, so it was like, we only have these 3 days, and that's it. Like, wow.
Yeah, it was tough.
What's the... Not that... I mean, it hasn't came out, right?
So right now it's in this tricky spot.
Okay.
Where like because you enter short films. Some festivals have restrictions where they're like, well, we want to accept your film, or we're only accepting films that haven't been released publicly. And
because they want to be the first to drop, like
they want to be the first to either like world premiere it, or like, let's say they have people there that want to buy it. They want to be there to buy it and then put it on whatever platform they own. So we haven't been able to release it. We've been talking about a release date, probably sometime in June. It's only right because the movie's called June 22nd.
Maybe you could drop it June 22nd.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
Another idea that I'm coming up with. I don't know.
We've talked about it. We want to be able to drop it in June. Yeah, right now we're going through film festivals. We just had a film festival. We're in talks of getting it done in there's a film festival in California next year. So hopefully that works out, and a couple more film festivals.
And you were just out in LA for a film festival.
Oh no, I was out in LA for I was invited by a friend that worked at the Emmys, and I was able to go to that. So
how was that?
That was insane. Like,
how was that? You took any pictures with anybody?
I didn't take any pictures with anybody. No. I was very respectful because, like, I know how, I don't want to, like, talk to them and, like, ask for pictures. I went up to people and I thanked them for their work, which was very great. And, like, it's good to know that I was able to do that. The after parties over there, like, all this free food.
That's my favorite time. My favorite time is the after party.
They had a bunch of free food, free drinks, had a live band. Like,
was it a lot for you, or was it like? Because you're making this face like you're like, it was a lot.
It was a lot. Like,
okay.
It was just like, you get to see how much money these people have, and like the amount of food that they give you, and like everything's very much overwhelming.
You're like, let me get a container real like, quick. Me voy a llevar esto, espérate.
Very overwhelming, the amount of things they had over there, and like that was my first time in LA too. I'd never been to LA ever.
Oh, okay.
And I was lucky enough to have those few days off. I went to the Academy Museum. Incredible. One of my favorite museums ever. They had like a bunch of like
films and like the history in them.
They had like real pieces from like I know. Have you seen The Wizard of Oz? No, but you know.
I like tune in and tune out with films.
Yeah.
I have like a short attention span, so it's like.
Do you know about the red shoe though? Like the
red
slipper?
Okay.
Yeah.
I know the story.
Yeah, of course. So like, they had the red slipper from like the real original first movie.
There was interesting fact. Yeah. There was like a lot of like a lot of things that were on the set that it was like. There's a scene where like there's somebody hanging in the background or something like that.
Yeah, there's like weird stuff too.
Like a lot of weird stuff was happening. That one, The Exorcist.
Yeah. A lot of weird stuff happens.
I'm into ghosts, so that's why I had to go with that.
Yeah. A lot of weird stuff's happen on productions. So, yeah. I'm very much into like the behind the scenes stuff, so I would.
Me too. I watch a lot of behind the scenes documentaries. Yeah. I like to see how they make things. I like to learn.
Yeah, me too.
It's the only way to learn, right? I mean, or else you can pay thousands of dollars for school.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to do that. So so what else did you see there?
I did see did I see a movie over there? I can't even remember. I think I did see a movie. I can't remember what movie it was. I've seen too many movies. I did have In-N-Out. People go to In-N-Out all the time, right?
In-N-Out. Okay, what's your opinion?
I think it's good.
Okay.
I think it's like the cheesiest burger I've ever had.
I love the service. I found it to be super. So I've worked in food service like my whole life. So seeing the way that they carried themselves, I was like pretty shocked.
Yeah.
The food was, it was good. It's a burger. It's a really good burger. It's not bad at all.
It was the cheesiest burger I've ever had. I think cheese-wise, that's all I remember. I remember the cheese.
I like bought In-N-Out and I sat across the street. There's like a school there.
Yeah.
And I sat right there and I like was eating, and then a whole bunch of kids came out and I was like, it's time to go. It's time to go. And I was so full that I was like,
you ever had the animal fries? Because I've never had it, but people all the time.
No, I just had regular fries.
Yeah, people told me about this animal fries thing.
Is it like with cheese and bacon and all that?
Yeah, all that. Yeah. It's too much.
We talking about a day at the bathroom, baby. Okay, we're gonna be there for a while.
Yeah.
All right. So you went to the Emmys.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And were you like red carpet? Were you like?
I think it was. like getting into those things are crazy.
Yeah.
Cause
Especially over there.
I remember we had, cause it was like near the Staples Center, and I remember they had like a bunch of guards. So I mean, think about it. Of course, they're gonna have a bunch of guards. But my friend had a little pass thing to get in, and then it was like six or seven different ways to get in, and I think we were like late because the red carpet thing already happened. We couldn't walk it because we were just late. Like there was too much traffic.
You were running on Lawrence time.
Yeah, too much traffic. Like there was just so much traffic. They had a bunch of stuff blocked off. You had to talk to like 6 or 7 security guards. Some people just get hired and they don't even know what they're doing, and it's just like
LA.
You're just it was like I was familiar with the environment already because of my jobs and everything. My friend was like, "Oh my god," because
it's so much.
It was just a lot. It was a lot, and
I actually worked right next to the Staples Center at that little H&M there. So I was there while they did the BET Awards 2017 or 2016, and I got to meet Kevin Hart's team because they had came in. They're like, "We need an outfit really quick."
Oh wow!
And I was just like, and I was there, and he came up to me in the fitting room, and I was like, "Okay, I have no sense of fashion, but let's do this. Let's find you something."
Do you ever like when you were there? Did you ever encounter like road closings and all that stuff? Because I would imagine it gets really hard, like when they have
that day,
like, carpets.
Yeah, that day, like we were dead in the store.
Yeah,
because nobody could get onto. I think that's 7th Ave or something like that.
That's gotta be annoying. Like I can't.
It was
deal
okay.
With that.
I mean, I got to meet a lot of celebrities while working at H&M.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. Some people like I met Julissa Bermudez. And I had like went up to her and I was like, "You know who you look like?" And she's like, "Who?" I'm like, "Julissa Bermudez. Do you know who that is?" And she's like, "I am Julissa Bermudez." I'm like, "No!" So that was a pretty cool moment. There was you see a lot of weird people in LA.
Yeah.
I always tell people, if you're not fully aware of who you are, you can get very lost in LA.
I agree.
And like that's what happened with me. I like went for a little bit of time and then I was just like, I need to go back home because I was not ready for that.
I'm very much like a traveler. Like I would travel to a place for a couple months or so, but I'm definitely coming back here at the end of the day. That's just how I
tried to move there. Rent is super high, even for rooming. I wherever I move to, I always room first or I stay at a hostel. Yeah. And then even those prices are like insane. Yeah. Insane. Damn. So anyways, let's get back to it. Let's talk about June 22nd. So tell us more about that storyline. What is that about? You said it was hot. There was a New York actress that came down, did it in 3 days.
So basically, the story, I got inspired by a lot of coming of age stories, a lot of John Hughes, The Breakfast Club, and very much like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Oh. And it was pretty much not like a biographical story, but like a very, very loose story on a lot of experiences. And it's almost like a day in a life, like a slice of life. Okay. It's about
a slice of life. Yeah. I like that.
A lot of nostalgia too. It's about, these 4 high school seniors coming together for the first time. Like, there's always those moments in high school where like there's a high school event and you end up meeting people. And then you never know, those people end up
becoming really good friends.
Yeah, for like the rest of your life.
Or really good enemies.
Yeah. This is how, yeah. So
okay.
That was pretty much the idea for the story. I wrote it during the pandemic. We were in lockdown, so I was able to take my time and write it. Probably like 3 or 4 revisions, maybe even more than that.
Not bad.
And then after things were calming down, and like people were getting better, there was a vaccine and everything, and we wanted to be secure and safe. We were like, all right, let's shoot it.
Let's get it done.
Get it going, and we set deadlines and everything, and we got it done. And I love happy for it. Yeah.
It seems like when you are doing your productions, like everything just seems well put together and organized, and I can't tell you how I appreciate that, because there's so many people that you work with that you're just like, you didn't think about that? Okay, got it.
I wouldn't be able to do it without like a group.
You need organization.
Like I think wearing too many hats is bad, I think. Yeah. But sometimes it's good to know these things, but being able to wear them all at the same time, it's crazy. I
It's a
don't.
lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. As a person who wears a lot of hats.
Yeah. Like I think, like when it comes to the expression, like
Yeah.
you can wear one of these hats one day and then maybe
Another
wear
one.
two,
Yeah.
but once you're at three, like you gotta relax. Like
Have a seat.
yeah.
Sit, please. Thanks.
But
I
yeah.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that. The quality looks amazing.
Thank you so much.
I think that the storyline is like from Boys Will Be Boys made so much sense. It was
Yeah.
so relatable. I can't wait to see June 22nd.
Yeah.
I hope it gets into more film festivals.
Yeah. Thank you.
What does the future of Michael T look like
Right now,
besides the modeling documentary and the music video?
yeah. Right now we're working on. We're kind of like in pre-production for the next big short film. Um, it's pretty much, I could say that it's in the works, and yeah, we're really excited. Got two producers now, which is
Wow.
amazing.
Is that easy to manage?
I would say so. Yes, having two producers, being able to manage that, because they're very much in the sense of, Michael, you're the director. We want you to direct the story, and whatever you need, we will help you figure that out. And it feels like, weight lifted off my shoulders, because I mean, I know what being a producer feels like, but having that kind of like support system, it's incredible. And being able to have those conversations and just focus on
Yeah.
developing the story, while whenever I need like a certain team or like a certain list of things, they can provide that and help me out in the most in the best way they can, which is great. Like, like I said, like not too many hats on at the same time.
I'm like learning, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like I'm trying to also get people to be like a team and do all these things.
Yeah.
But I'm just like still in the beginning phases of everything. So I'm like, let me just learn how to do it myself.
Yeah.
So then I can delegate and learn how to teach people how to do it.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
It's a lot. Filmmaking. It's like a place where like you have to learn a lot of these skills. And I mean, a lot of people want to be just a director, but sometimes you got to learn how to manage a camera. You got to learn how to put things together, and you can't just be a director.
Right.
Like I've had moments where I had to sit back and not direct. I've been assistant. I've been a director's assistant a couple times, and people need that support system. You can't just lead everything all
It's
the
crazy
time.
because it's like people see the finishing product and they don't realize that it does take a village to get that ultimate result.
I agree. Yeah,
So
definitely.
what is a goal that you're working on or working towards?
That's a good question. I think my goal right now is becoming a successful filmmaker. I want to be able to have my name mentioned when people talk about filmmaking here in Massachusetts.
Period.
And eventually, the world. And I want to be able to bring filmmaking here to Lawrence, most importantly, next year, with workshops, movie nights, and being able to collaborate with other people around.
Maybe
the
even start
Massachusetts
a
area.
whole program for filmmakers.
Yeah, I know a lot of people come up to me, or people tell me that like I have friends that teach students at schools, and they tell me, oh, he wants to be a filmmaker, and like I don't know what to do because we don't have any of that around here. And like I want to be able to have those programs and those workshops,
Yeah.
and that kind of accessibility for people to come and make films themselves.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Thank you.
What is let's say a 5-year goal?
5-year
What
goal?
are we looking at? Have you thought that far ahead?
I hope I make a feature film, like one of those big movies that are like.
You will.
Yeah.
Not
I will.
hoping. We will make it.
Yeah. Thank you for changing that. Yeah, of course. I will. Yeah, I will make the hour and 30. That's the goal. That's the big one. 5 years from now.
Yeah.
I want to make the hour and 30, and then eventually, the studios look at it and they're like, well, come and do this franchise movie for us.
What was the feedback the film festival gave you on June 22nd?
They loved it. I mean, we walked out of a film festival with honorable mention for best short film.
That's
like,
big.
Like going to New York, like we went there and we walked out with honorable mention. They gave us a certificate and everything out of like 40 short films. Like that's huge.
Yeah.
It was like
That is huge, and you're in a different market.
Yeah.
To come from where we come from, to be in a different market and have that.
Yeah, I was speechless when it happened. They wanted me to do a speech or something, and I just went, Thank you, I appreciate it.
I feel like every director always does that. Very quick,
forget.
like
You just forget, like at the very moment, you just forget, and then the next day I just put it on social media. But
and with a caption, thanking
Yes.
everybody appropriately.
Yeah, but you live and learn. Next time I'll probably keep something and just
some notes inside the jacket real quick.
Yeah.
So, well, I think we got a pretty good look into Michael T's career, and I'm super excited to see what you're going to make for the city of Lawrence and for yourself as well. I think it's important to lift each other up and give each other a platform. I love that you're able to talk about your craft. Not many people can do that. And I love that you dived into exactly what it is that you're doing with June 22nd and Boys Will Be Boys. Are you entering Boys Will Be Boys to anything? Or
Boys Will Be Boys, that was... I feel like that one we're still letting people see it. It's out publicly. You can go watch it. That one got nominated a couple times for short films around the world. I think like three short films.
Wow.
3 short film festivals from what I remember. Yeah, it was.
So your name is ringing bells.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's doing something.
Yeah, I hope so.
I also wanted to finish off with asking about your website.
Yeah.
Do you design your own website?
Yeah,
I love that.
I
love web design. When I went on there, I was like, it's so minimalistic and so understandable. I get it. I love it.
I appreciate it.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
A lot of time goes in, so that means a lot. Thank you.
I bet. Is it HTML or Flash?
Ooh, I usually just use Wix. And then
okay. Yeah. I'm a Wix guy too. I could do a cute Wix.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah. You guys can find me on Instagram, michaelt.films or michaeltfilms.com. All the information should be there, and I look forward to providing more films for the community.
Yes, and check out Boys Will Be Boys on YouTube now, and June 22nd, which will be released shortly.
Probably next year, summer next year, 2023.
On June 22nd.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys check out michaeltfilms.com for all the latest Michael T content that's coming out. And we are super excited. And thank you for coming on RueAlity, the first guest of this season. Y'all already know my name is Rue, and I'm blasting off.